monster. That's one of the biggest bars we've seen in a while. So we'll see what it does. What it does from here. But overall, I just bought another crude. Okay, which is again is what I'm trying to do, is to scale in and look for a move. Okay, I've got my stop working at 56.70, excuse me. And we'll see what it indeed looks like. But overall, we're gonna do our thing and work it, and we'll see how it trades out here, and we'll see if we can find any other opportunities. We are coming into basically what I consider the final trading week of the year. Next week, good morning. I think next week is the final trading week for me, because typically that as a floor trader, that we used to be when we used to end the year, because there's really nothing to do between the triple witching expiration on Friday and the end of the year as a rule. It doesn't mean it's for sure, but again, that's usually a good time. If you want to take some time off, that's usually a good time to do it. And that's usually what we look for. Hold on one second. I have to take care of one thing for myself real quick here. So hold on one second. And so 95. Oh, I see. Okay. So at the end of the day, again, we're in the crude trade. It's slightly profitable right now if you took it with me. Okay. In fact, I'm just going to recommend that you go ahead and put your stop at break even now. See if it will continue to run, but no sense to take any unnecessary risk. It's up nicely now. You should be out of one if you did trade with me, and you should have one left over. Okay. And we'll see how it works out from here. That's a winning trade and popping nicely. The rest, again, not much going on here. As we take a look at the rest of our board that we usually look at, Apple in the middle of nowhere, so there's really nothing to do. Okay, Amazon in the middle of nowhere. Again, the markets are basically just consolidating. I mean, that's really what we're looking at. Okay, is a market that is in consolidation. Coin really in the middle once again. So there's not a lot to do there. Crowd, nothing to do. And you can see the consistency of the lack of things going on here. Okay. And certainly we're not going to force any trade. Ether did make a spot where we could have sold it. We did not, but it was an opportunity the other day or yesterday. Meta, once again, in the middle of nowhere. So you're seeing these there's not a lot of activity to do. We do have a profit in our trade we took in crude, and that's the only possible trade that we have right now. We'll go back to our regular board. Google, again, sideways. Okay, very consistent with the rest of the market, consolidating. INOQ, solid consolidating. Russell break, nothing for me to do, but if it goes a little higher, I mean, about 260, I'd look to be a seller as it looks right now. Of course, that can change. MP, right in consolidation. So you're getting the gist, right? That there's really not a lot to do here. As much as it looks like there's something going on, for us, there's really nothing to do here. Microsoft, nothing really to do in consolidation. MSTR in consolidation, getting close to being a potential buy. Netflix. Now, Netflix would be a potential trade to look at. Okay, Netflix would definitely be something you may want to look at. Let's see what it looks like via the spreads. Excuse me. Okay. So Netflix, if I want to sell, you got a nice win in our crude trade if you took it. I would do this for next week. And you sell, if you want to sell the 93.50, 92.50 put spread for 40 cents. That's a good trade. I would take that. Netflix 93.50, 92.50. Just write it down. because I have so many trades on. I don't remember what I gave out here. 93.50, 92.50 put spread. Yeah. 40 cents that I got. NNE, nothing really going on. Nugget, spiking up. Again, this would be one to look to sell call spreads on. Nugget, remember uniform golf tango. Let's see here for next week. They just put some new strikes in, so we'll wait and check before we go. But you might want to look at that, like selling the 185, 186. But they're a little thin there too. So I just got stopped out of my crude at a profit. So we'll take that and be happy with it. I don't think you're going to get this price, but the nugget shows a midpoint of 65 cents. So I'm going to go ahead and try to sell it there. I don't think I'm going to get filled, but I'm certainly going to work it there. Okay. If it fills me, great. If it doesn't, no problem. Okay. Let's go back here and see if anything is worth looking at. No, not really. So we continue to wait. Okay, and let's go back to our other board and see if there's anything here. NVIDIA, getting close to selling put spreads on NVIDIA. Let's see. Nugget. 186, but that's not a fill. The NASDAQ, the Netflix was a fill. NVIDIA. For next week, sell the 176, 175. For 43 cents. Yeah, 176, 175. Go ahead and sell that for 43 cents. Okay, and Palantir, nothing for us to do. We missed a sale on that. QBTS, nothing to do. Qs, nothing to do. SMCI, nothing to do yet. XYZ, nothing to do yet. Tesla, nothing to do yet. Win, nothing to do. So you can see there's not a lot going on. A lot of markets are just kind of in consolidation, even though it feels like there's something going on. There's really nothing going on. Very quiet. And we'll continue to look for our opportunities should they arise. But overall, again, I don't know, and I don't see a lot coming on. You've got the metals flying like crazy. And of course, I think silver is making a new high. I think. Let's see here. Yep, silver's making an all-time new high once again as it continues to fly. Again, this is very much inflation-based. Again, debt and inflation create higher prices in metals, and of course, there you go. There you have it. So again, we can't do much about that. I mean, you could look to sell, and certainly I would look on the blow-off, but I would only look on a short-term basis. I don't want to carry those. I like to trade those intraday. But again, you can see the Dow is sideways right now, the Russell sideways, the NASDAQ, S&P, everything's kind of just sideways other than the one trade we made, which was a net win. And again, what am I going to do? I'm going to sit here and watch, and we'll hang out and see if anything shows up. At the end of the day, that's what we have. Again, I can't force the action. Okay. I can't make the markets do what I want. I have to sit here and be patient enough to wait for it. Certainly, I have nothing to trade right now. I'll just sit here and wait. We did put on We put on 2 of the 3 spreads. One we're working, which I don't think will ever fill, but if it does, it does. It's 65 cents. But I just have to sit back and again relax and wait. At the end of the day, this is the business. Being able to be patient enough to wait. Okay, that's the biggest part of the business, is the ability to not try to get too excited, not try to get too aggressive when there's no reason to be overly aggressive right now in what you're watching. So why should I try to force something that isn't there? So basically, we just sit and watch and wait for, maybe we'll get a move, a spike. But overall, again, I think we're consolidating. I think volume, as you see, volume is drying up. It has been. I mean, this is not new, but look at the volume. Okay, we've gone down every day. Even yesterday with the Fed announcement, there was very light volume. So what should we do? Should we be crazy about doing something? And I say the answer is no. I think you have to be patient and wait for it. I don't see any reason to do anything aggressively here. You just have to be patient enough to wait for your opportunities. And right now, there is no real opportunity anywhere at the moment. And again, if you have any questions, you can always ask. I'm certainly able to answer. But next week is triple witching. If you're a futures trader, which we do obviously here, today begins the rollover of the equity futures from December to March. I will trade December until at least Monday. But if you're putting on a longer term position, you may want to use the March futures. Otherwise, you're going to have to roll them again. So, and they'll change a little bit, but they're going to be basically the same amount of movement. But they're just right now, for example, the December NASDAQ is traded 1.2 million contracts. The March NASDAQ is traded 23,000. So the liquidity is still in December, but if you're going to put on a longer term position, then you can go ahead and go right out to March. Save yourself the roll. It's not that big a deal. You're going to get the same equivalent. They're both down the same amount. So it's not like there's a big difference between the two. So I would go ahead and start to look there. But again, for us, for an active standpoint, there's nothing really to be active in here. So we're not going to be active. We're going to sit back and relax and watch and wait. And, if something shows, great. And if it doesn't show, then, we'll have a nice conversation. Okay. We did have one winning trade, and we do have 2 trades on and 1 working. So, that's what we're going to do. But for now, we'll just sit here and wait and see if there's anything that does actually develop for us. Again, this is the hard part, is waiting. And sometimes it's better just to walk away. And, listen, if you don't get what you want, you'll walk away. And, there's always later today. There's always tomorrow. There's always Monday. So there's no reason to force any trades in here. I mean, you got to figure out what's your advantage. Okay? If you don't have an advantage, why would you try to force yourself in? I think that's always something important to remember. And again, I don't have anything here to give you. So I'm going to sit here and talk. And, like I said, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. But overall, there's not a lot going on, and certainly no reason for me to be overly involved here. So at the end, I'm going to sit here and watch them. And if something shows up, great. And if it doesn't, well, then it doesn't. But again, just notice what's going on. You're going straight sideways, pretty much across the board. So we always have to figure out, where's our edge? Is there an edge in this kind of market? I don't think so. So I have to sit back and relax and, again, not be too aggressive here. The euro currency sideways. Crude, we made a trade in and we get out. Bitcoin is too thin for us to trade, and gold is just kind of consolidating as well. So what are we going to do? We're going to sit here, hang out, watch it, and look for, a potential opportunity. I would recommend, though, that, again, be careful. Don't get overly aggressive, because their markets are fast, they're thin, and there's not a lot of reason to be overly involved there. Okay. We traded this morning, started out with a loser, but ended up with a nice winning day. But it's all about the patience that you can exhibit while you wait for the correct trade. Now, just because you put the correct trade on doesn't make that going to mean it's going to win. But at least if you have probability in your favor, it gives you the highest chance. Cash is a position. I'm sitting on my hands. What's up, brother? How are you? Nice to see you here. You don't miss. Again, there's no reason to force anything. Okay. Look, you can make a lot of money if you have money when it's time. Okay. But if you're so miserable from losing money trying to figure it out, you end up with a bad position. And then you don't make the right trades because you're too busy making the wrong trades. Look, again, I'm giving you 47 years worth of experience here. And I've done every bad thing you can imagine. I've done every wrong trade you can imagine. So in the end of the day, I think it's always better to err on the side of caution. And I always talk when I trade live in the morning, every morning with my members, I go, why would I want to trade for you, make a trade for you? If I don't want to risk my own money, why would I want to risk yours? Okay. That's what I always tell everybody. I mean, if I'm not willing, I'm going to trade with you. I made the crew trade. I made the trades I recommend. So if I'm not willing to trade my own money, why would I want you to trade? No reason for that. Okay. All right. Anyways, we've run out of time, but remember the market 120 every day. I send it out in the morning. Just be careful, be ready. And if anybody would like to try, we got a new thing coming out, a new newsletter, The Pulse of the Pit. If you want to check it out, send me an email at bubba@bubbatrading.com and I'll send you out a sample. You can check it out. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you back here on Tuesday.
You know how the financial world goes. Here comes the buzzkill. Please make sure to take some time to read this boring disclaimer. We will owe you one.